This is WNCT 9 on your side news at 5.
Well, when you walk outside today, it's gorgeous outside. You can see on our live I-9 camera right here, you've had lots of blue skies across the region. It's very deceiving of what's to come, especially with some of those river levels. Let's take a look at the hour-by-hour forecast. Through the night, we'll see temperatures dipping down in the 40s. We'll see clear skies generally, and then a little bit of cloud cover along the inland areas. Overall, keeping things dry, that's good because we don't need to be adding any rainfall to the river levels that are already well into the major flood category across some of those rivers. Tar River is sitting about 7.5 feet above flood stage, expected to crest on Wednesday. The Neuse River sitting about 7-8 feet above flood stage as well over in Kinston. Trent River above the Kashai River. It is starting to recede now. We've seen it drop about 2 feet from yesterday. Even some of the other rivers that we have, the Pungo River above flood stage at this hour, as well as the Jacquard Creek. Tar River at Rocky Mount actually broke a record yesterday. It is on the decline now. We're going to have much more about these river levels, and we'll detail some of them out in great detail for you coming up in your first alert forecast. 9 on your side at 5 starts right now.
This is an extremely dangerous situation.
It's a waiting game as the East prepares for potential catastrophic and historic flooding from several rivers in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ken Watley.
And I'm Angela Green. Thanks so much for joining us. First at 5, the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew has the East holding its breath. Governor Pat McCrory toured the town common in Greenville just over an hour ago, where the Tar River continues to rise. Right now, it is a major threat to the East ahead of what's anticipated to be historic flooding. First Alert meteorologist Pierce Legion joins us live with the latest. Pierce.
Yeah, guys, we've been here at Town Common in Greenville all day long watching the Tar River rise. If you take a look at it here behind me, it is moving pretty swift here as well, so that is a danger as well as the rising water itself. Now, on top of that, we've had a lot of people coming out here to try to check things out. Actually, Greenville police telling us that they do plan on closing down the town common here in just a few minutes here very shortly. So again, they'll be getting these people out of here, so that kind of gives you an idea of the real danger. As Candace mentioned, the river is still expected to rise several more feet through the day on Wednesday likely before we do see a crest. That will put as many as 1,000 people out of their homes is what we're being told here in the Greenville area. That many people will have to evacuate and could be under the gun for some flooding here over the next couple of days. And it will take a couple more days after Wednesday for the Tar River to recede and get back into its banks and kind of get back into more of a normal type of state. So again, we're looking at flooding that has not been rivaled since that of Hurricane Floyd. We're not expecting a record crest like we saw during Hurricane Floyd, but it will crest about a couple feet below that. So really in the same ballpark of what we saw back in 1999 here in Greenville. We'll keep an eye on things for you. We're live here at Town Common. Meteorologist Pierce Legion, not on your side.
Pierce, thank you. Greenville remains in a state of emergency this evening as the Tar River is expected to flood into many residential areas. Mandatory evacuations are still in effect for parts of the city. Mayor Alan Thomas is urging residents in those areas to leave now.
Law enforcement going through with loudspeakers through the neighborhoods, knocking on doors, talking to neighbors, and transitioning people out of the flood areas that we can't get to you.
The areas under a mandatory evacuation are residences north of the Tar River and south of Belvoir Road, including as far east as Bradford Creek, and residents south of the Tar River, which are north of First Street between Pitt Street and Brownlee Drive, and the Riverwalk and Dockside neighborhoods. Many people in those impacted areas are packing up their belongings and leaving their homes. WNCT's Kelly Byrne joins us now live in one of the neighborhoods where evacuations are taking place. Kelly.
Yeah, Ken, I'm off of Willow and Stansel Drive, and this water right here is coming up a lot. The Tar River is behind me. It doesn't really look like it's that far away. It looks like it's a lot closer now. The Greenway also back there, but now that looks like it's also part of the Tar River at this point. Now, this is one of the areas of the mandatory evacuation because this water is coming up so close to many of the houses in this neighborhood. I want to show you a house just behind, or actually in front of me, behind the camera, how close this water is to this area. Now, the residents told me they heard about the evacuations and were planning on leaving, but just didn't have a place to put their belongings. So a group of volunteers saw resident Anita Van Beveren needed help, so they found her a storage unit for free.
We came over here and watched the water again, and then they asked if we needed help, and I'm like, well, no, because I don't want nobody getting hurt. And they said, well, so they convinced me, and now they're moving everything out.
Several volunteers from F3 and Covenant Church spent all morning packing up their belongings so she didn't have to start over once the water recedes. They filled an entire truck, leaving nothing in the house. Now, again, the water is expected to come up far past these houses over the next couple of days, and people and city leaders tell us this is a mandatory evacuation area. They say, please leave if you live in this area. Live at Greenville, Kelly Byrne, 9 on your side.
All right, thank you, Kelly. ECU is advising students not to return to campus this week in anticipation of flooding. The university will not have classes for the remainder of the week. Employees should check with their managers for scheduling and alternate work locations. The school has established a call center for students, parents, and staff who have non-emergency questions. That number is 252-737-5100. In Lenoir County, mandatory evacuations are also in effect for some residents. Oak Street and Lincoln Streets are among the areas listed on the evacuation route. Residents there say they are concerned for their homes and city. Those who were here during Hurricane Floyd are not sure if they can handle another flood coming through the city they love.
And it's just a reminder of what they've already gone through and have not recovered. Some has not recovered all. And to have to go through it again, you know, what can you feel? Nothing but pain.
Mumford is staying with family for the time being. If you are evacuating, there is a shelter open right now at Lenoir Community College. For more information, head to WNCT.com.
Furry residents are often overlooked during evacuations. In Pitt County, the animal shelter is overflowing with evacuated pets. And now with the increased flooding a major threat, the shelter now has to open up more space for people to bring them while they're out of their homes.
They've had to go ahead and request more crates from another county to continue to try to house as many. Quickly running out of space, we are trying to accommodate everybody that we possibly can.
Coming up at 6, we'll show you what else is being done to help accommodate those displaced pets.
Right now, there is a mandatory evacuation for residents living on Lily Pad Road in Greene County. The National Guard is helping people get to a safe place. Earlier today, we called some residents packing up as waters were rising. Many people in Scuffleton already had plans to leave or had left already. Now, some homes are now submerged in water, but still not everyone is ready to evacuate.
If you stay, you know, that's putting your life in danger.
Yeah, I understand that. But my wife definitely won't leave the animals. That's for sure. She's not going anywhere.
Presently, Yanarello is helping others across flooded areas to evacuate. He says if it comes down to it, they do have a boat for emergencies. Now, as a result of all that flooding, there are several roadways closed in Greene County. They include Wilson Highway, NC 903, and NC 91. For the complete list of road closings in Greene County as well as across the east, you can log on to our website, WNCT.com. You can also see a list of school and business closings.
In Craven County, parts of Vanceboro are already underwater, and as WNCT's Zora Stevenson reports, residents are trying to gather as much of their belongings as possible before seeking higher ground.
This is the scene in Vanceboro. People getting as much stuff out as possible. They've got boats, they're prepared, but the worst is yet to come.
It's got another 3.5 feet or more to rise.
For people who live on Streets Ferry Road, time is of the essence. These residents are trying to save the things that matter most before the water starts seeping into homes. This car is a great indication of the water levels. 24 hours ago, it was halfway submerged. Now, you can barely point it out.
Floyd went to the top of the red on that stop sign. If that gives you an idea how much more water we're going to get.
This area is prone to flooding. The houses sit right on Swift Creek. Most of the homes were raised years ago, but even that may not save them from the remnants of Hurricane Matthew.
We're hoping that they're saying this one's going to be more than Floyd, that it won't come up in the house again even after being lifted.
As you could see in my video, a lot of houses on this road are actually on stilts because they get flooded that much, but it doesn't mean they aren't taking precautions. It doesn't mean they aren't trying to save as much as possible. In Vanceboro, Zora Stevenson, 9 on your side.
Still ahead, we're taking you to one of the hardest hit areas in our state.
As Governor Pat McCrory tours Fayetteville and warns residents there that the threat from Hurricane Matthew isn't over yet.
And that's the most deceiving thing. It's so beautiful outside, but we're going to be talking about those major river levels coming up in your First Alert forecast.
Now your WNCT 9 First Alert weather.
You've already heard in the newscast how we're already doing team coverage of all the river levels that are starting to rise. Let's go ahead and get you over to some of these river levels now and show you what we're seeing currently, what we can expect as we get you into the next couple of days. The Tar River currently sitting at 20.54 feet, so that's about 7 feet above normal. It looks like it will crest on Wednesday. We're going to break down a few of these rivers here in just one moment. The Kashai River, it's actually been dropping. It's already reached its crest, but still well above the normal flood stage value that we're seeing. The Northeast Cape Fear River, you can see, is about 5 feet above normal. Chicod Creek, about 7 feet above normal at this hour. Even the Pungo River has been fluctuating. It's just now above flood stage. Swift Creek is about 2.5 feet above flood stage over at Streets Ferry, and Town Creek over in Pine Top still about 4 feet above normal. You can see that one Tar River in Rocky Mount actually broke a record yesterday. So let's break down a few of these for you. Here's the Tar River in Greenville. Like I said, it's currently sitting at 20.54 feet. The crest date is supposed to happen sometime later on Wednesday, and then we'll see that crest level at about 25.8 feet. So if you just do some simple math there, we've got about 5 more feet to go before we reach the crest, and it doesn't look like it'll be below flood stage until we get you into Monday. Some of the impacts we could see from this: numerous homes adjacent to the rivers of the city will see flooding. Some of the roads could become impassable, and we could see numerous homes countywide that are near the river dealing with flooding issues. The Neuse River over in Kinston looks like it's going to crest at about 26.3 feet, so another 5 feet to go by the time we get you into Friday evening. This one looks like it will not fall at least more than 10 days from now, so it looks like we'll still at least be in the flood stage category through the 10 days. So a lot of water coming down over the Neuse River and Kinston. We could see disastrous flooding. It's very comparable to Hurricane Floyd. All major roads south side of Kinston will likely flood. We could see upwards of 2 feet of water likely on Highway 70 in Kinston, which could affect numerous businesses and homes. As we move over to the Northeast Cape Fear River in Chinkapin, we can see that one crest Wednesday morning at about 19.5 feet and won't fall below flood stage until we get you into Monday. We could see Highway 41, Highway 24, and Interstate 40 being impacted from that. The Continuing Creek in Hookerton looks like it'll crest at about 22.5 feet on Tuesday. Looks like it'll take more than 10 days for it to fall below flood stage. We can see numerous homes on the north side of the creek between Hookerton and Snow Hill possibly flooding, with water all the way up to the Walston and Creek roads over in the Hookerton area. And we could see widespread flooding that could cause numerous homes and businesses in Grifton and Tickbite to also flood. So all this to say is that it's sunny outside. Don't drop your guard. At least we're not adding any more rainfall to what we're seeing. Temperatures are comfortable out there. You can see temperatures generally in the 60s across the region. Dew points very dry in the 40s, so at least we're not dealing with muggy conditions. Still got a little bit of a breeze coming from the north, about 5 to 10 miles an hour depending on your location. High pressure is firmly in control of our area. That'll keep things calm and dry for Tuesday and into Wednesday. A cold front will try to move in here by Thursday. It looks like it won't have too much success making its way into the region. Small craft advisory out for the area as we get you tomorrow. If you're going out boating, a moderate chop along the lakes and rivers. Your 7-day first alert forecast: 69 for tomorrow, 72 by Wednesday. Of course, we're going to be watching those river levels all week long. Ken and Angela, the only thing I can really say that is nice is the fact that we don't have any rain chances on the 7-day first alert forecast. We just don't need to be adding any more rainfall. So at least we're getting a good dry stretch. But obviously we've still got a long way to go through the end of the week.
Definitely. And we have been getting several calls about what time it will flood at what river, and I'm not sure if we can answer that.
Yeah, I mean, you got the crest, but you got to think the water is going to be rising all the way up to the crest, so we can start seeing those impacts really start kicking in as we're going through the week.
All right, thank you, Candace.
Well, some of the worst flooding from Hurricane Matthew is being seen in the southeastern part of our state.
Governor Pat McCrory toured some of the hardest hit areas around Fayetteville today.
As Don Champion reports, property damage from the storm could hit $6 billion.
People in Lumberton, North Carolina are moving to higher ground by the truckload, rescued by crews from Ohio, New Jersey, and New York in the face of a breached levee that's flooding their town. This 2 days after the rain from Hurricane Matthew stopped.
I've been in town all my life. That's 52 years. I've never seen it like this.
Crews have moved at least 2,000 people to safety, many who need extra help.
Thanks be to God, he brought me through, and thank you all very much.
Extreme flooding in Nichols South Carolina forced 150 people to seek shelter on the 3rd floor of the town hall, where they were rescued this afternoon. Officials say 7 dams have failed. 4 islands that were evacuated, including Hilton Head, remain closed.
Trees down in a way like we've never seen before, and flooded roads in a way that has been devastating to these areas that may not have dealt with it.
In Florida, the governor toured a 1-mile stretch of a road that collapsed into the ocean. In North Carolina, a section of I-95 is underwater, and large chunks of road have simply washed away. President Obama has promised federal resources to all states affected by the storm. Don Champion, CBS News, Tarboro, North Carolina.
Still to come, WNCT is continuing to track the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. We'll have an update from 9 on your side's Elizabeth 2 from Duplin County, road closures and how folks are preparing there.
In Duplin County, many homes and roads are flooded, with the Highway Patrol shutting down Highway 24 in and out of Kenansville. WNCT's Elizabeth 2 spoke with residents with flooded homes who are now trying to save their valuables.
Traveling from Jacksonville to Kenansville on Monday was impossible. That's because Highway Patrol closed off Highway 24 in both directions due to this. Stream surge from Hurricane Matthew flooded many major roads and homes in Duplin County. Monday, residents were out assessing the damage.
We got a slide on the deck, and it's 8 foot high, and there's a foot of it sticking out, so there's 9 foot of water there.
There's no yard left in front of Sumner's house now, and he's not the only one. Elsewhere, just down the road, water levels have forced several people out of their homes. Already, just where I'm standing, the water level is about halfway up my boots, but it gets even higher than that the further you go down this road.
It's very discouraging to know that you have to leave your house and leave everything behind and hope that the water doesn't get high enough to wash it all away. Hope that it's not going to get that high. We got, the important things out, important paperwork and stuff that we knew we would need.
Flooding isn't the only concern. Everyone I spoke to is currently without power. That's due to many large trees around the county that fell on power lines during the hurricane. Still, many residents are staying positive.
It can all be put back. It can be put back. We're fortunate. We really are.
In Duplin County, Elizabeth 2, 9 on your side.
You can stay up to date with the latest on flooding, school, business, and road closings, as well as the latest news on our website, WNCT.com. You can also download our First Alert weather app. It's free and available in the Google Play and Apple App Store.
All right, Brian Bailey joins us now for your early sports. The big news today comes from Pirate football.
Yeah, we don't need to be playing football right now, and they won't be playing football on Thursday night against Navy. It's been postponed until November the 19th. For these Pirates, they still have plenty of problems to work on, especially off the field now with the flood problems for some of the players. We'll hear from head coach Scotty Montgomery on that coming up next. The East Carolina Navy game, originally set for this Thursday night, has been postponed and rescheduled for November the 19th, with roads in and out of Greenville flooded out in several spots. With classes canceled this week, it was really only a decision that made any sense whatsoever. With both teams with opening weeks the same week, it became obvious that this game needed to be moved. The Pirates could certainly use the opening week for sure. The team banged up on a 4-game losing streak, and they have other issues. Several Pirates either have been or will be affected by the flood waters where they live, and that's Scotty Montgomery's #1 concern to start the week.
Our administration and our football administration, Terrell Smith, that was our main concern when we got back. We immediately got people out of their places if they were in some of those zones. We also got some new words this morning that we had to move some more kids, so we've moved them. They're in a safe place. I'm not going to tell you where we moved them to, of course, but we've moved them to a place where they're very safe. Their belongings are safe. We're listening. We're not going to make a mistake by not listening. Our guys, our whole administrative football staff, that's what they're concerned with right now. They're not doing any football like they would normally be doing right now and trying to get prepared for this or that. The main concern right now is we're going to work around the clock to get our guys put in safe situations.
Well, more with Coach Montgomery coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. November the 19th, the new date for East Carolina Navy. Time now for our nightly feature, our play of the day. It's our Bailey's Best comes tonight from the NFL. Dolphins and the Titans, and the rookie Jakeem Grant back to receive the punt. Goes back a couple of yards, and he is going to take off. He is absolutely gone down that right sideline, 74 yards for the touchdown as our play of the day. More with Coach Montgomery as we continue on with this weird week as far as everything goes because of the flooding.
All right, Bailey, we'll talk to you again at 6 o'clock. Stay with us. Back with more after this break. Stay with us.
So obviously the biggest thing that we're going to be talking about is those river levels, and they're obviously going to be in the major flood stage for many of them, and we're going to see them start cresting at some pretty high rates. Some of them are going to be comparable to Hurricane Floyd type rates, just to kind of give that in perspective. The 7-day forecast, though, luckily things are looking much drier, and we'll detail a little bit more about those river levels.
And cooler.
Yes. Yeah.
Downright cold out there.
Yeah.
All right. Stay with us. We have a lot more news and weather updates coming up right after the break.
You're watching WNCT 9 on your side news at 5:30 with Ken Watling, Katie Harden, and First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jerry Jackson.
Well, as you step outside tonight, you might even feel just a little bit of a chill out there. It's kind of refreshing and it looks nice and not very indicative of those river levels at all. You're taking a live look out at Jacksonville. You can see lots of blue sky out there on the horizon. Sun starting to make its way down towards the horizon at this hour. Let's take you through the next 24 hours. You'll see temperatures dipping down in the 40s inland. So yeah, a little bit of a chill outside as you go outside. Maybe tonight, even tomorrow, we'll be right near the 70-degree mark. A little bit of cloud cover starting to make its way into the picture, but still lots of sunshine. The good news is we're not adding any new rainfall. The bad news is that while some of these river levels are still in the major flood stage category, a lot of these will be cresting at very high rates. Some of those comparable to those experienced back in Hurricane Floyd. Coming up in your First Alert forecast, we're going to detail some of these rivers out, expect the timing of the crest, and some of the impacts that you may see. We'll have it all in your First Alert forecast. 9 on your side at 5:30 starts right now.
Anticipating the planning for the worst, but hoping for the best. That's the theme in the East tonight as we all wait to see exactly how high water levels will rise at the Tar River. Good evening, I'm Angela Green.
And I'm Ken Watling. Thanks for joining us. Katie Harden is on assignment. First at 5:30 tonight, all eyes are on the Tar River. It's one of several in our area that's already risen above flood level, leading to catastrophic and historic flooding. Governor Pat McCrory just wrapped up a tour at Greenville's Town Common. First Alert media along for that tour. He joins us now live with more. Pierce.
Yeah, guys, we've been here all day long at the Town Common watching this Tar River slowly rise. And what we're seeing actually happen right now is that police, they've kept their eyes on this as well. They're actually closing down about a good 2/3 or so of Town Common. And the people that are still down here, they're actually having go behind that caution tape. So again, nobody will be allowed back behind that caution tape here in the Town Common. It looks like moving forward. As Ken mentioned, Governor McCrory was here just a couple of hours ago to take a tour and kind of survey the river. We'll go ahead and take a look at that for you here. His visit coming just a couple of hours ago, of course, and let's hear what some of what he had to say.
We've offered services to your city regarding the guard, regarding the highway patrol, regarding help with the shelters. We're doing this from Fayetteville to Lumberton, Kinston, Rocky Mount, Goldsboro. We've got a large area to take care of.
Yeah, so not just here in Greenville, but of course the governor concerned about areas all across eastern North Carolina. Now, what you're looking at right now, that green band on the light pole here behind us, that's actually the high water mark from Hurricane Floyd back in 1999. We do expect that the flood levels will actually stay a couple of feet below that as we head through the next couple of days. Crest here at the Tar River in Greenville expected to come during the day on Wednesday. But in the meantime, a lot of folks are going to be displaced by this flooding. So again, pay attention to your local emergency management, police, fire, rescue, etc. If they tell you to evacuate, make sure you get out to stay safe. We're live here in Greenville. Meteorologist Pierce Legion, not on your side.
All right, thank you, Pierce. Many people who live close to the Tar River are evacuating or going to higher ground. Cypress Glen Retirement Community is located near the mandatory evacuation zone. All residents on the first floor are being moved to the second and third floors. Hundreds of volunteers in Pitt County came out to help move the residents.
We're moving their belongings from cages to pods and above ground because if they don't, then all their belongings will be flooded.
storage facilities were brought to the retirement community to store the belongings. Volunteers also filled sandbags that will be used to block the areas around Cypress Glen. City leaders are urging anyone in the mandatory evacuation zones to leave immediately. And in the coming days, more bridge closings are expected to be announced beginning tomorrow afternoon at 5 in Pitt County. The bridge where Greenville Boulevard turns into US 264 will close. The bridge on Memorial Drive near 3rd Street will also close. You can see in this footage just how high the water has risen. Water is nearly reaching the runway at the Pitt Greenville Airport.
In Lenoir County tonight, mandatory evacuations are also underway for some residents. As WNCT's Tamara Scott reports, some are not leaving anything to chance as they pack up their belongings.
A Lenoir County mandatory evacuation has families on the move.
I don't want to go.
Sharon Solomon lives on Lincoln Street, right in the path of rising waters.
I hate to leave because people are so mean. You don't know what they might try to come in and do.
So she enlisted the help of her family to move her valuables.
Clothes and important papers, my bed.
Her sister Mary says there was no hesitation when they heard of the evacuation.
Our family, we stick together. When one person go down, we all go down. Whether it's good or bad, we're always there for one another to make sure that we have what we need.
Sharon's daughter LaGuardia says they are preparing for the worst.
If the water do come above the level that it needs to, most of her stuff will be in a safe place so she always can come back to it.
Williams says they haven't given up hope.
Pray that we may all return back home as normal.
In Kinston, Tamara Scott, 9 on your side.
Some folks in Lenoir County also experiencing the devastating aftermath of Matthew. This neighborhood and the Pitt and Beaufort County line is almost completely underwater. Water from Tranter's Creek has risen past the homes of these windows. You can see this truck almost completely submerged. Residents say Washington Fire and Rescue ordered a mandatory evacuation. One neighbor said this is the worst flooding he's seen since Hurricane Floyd.
And of course, you see what's happened today. All this wasn't here until overnight. So everybody's losing everything out here.
Those boats spent the day helping neighbors rescue pets and retrieve belongings. Officials say the water is expected to rise further before it begins to recede.
Here are some pictures of the extensive damages to roads in Duplin County. These are from Warsaw, Calypso, and the Faison areas. As you can see, saturated roads have broken off into pieces, creating huge holes in those roadways. Now today, cleanup from Matthew continued in Onslow County as many residents hauled off huge tree limbs and debris to the landfill. The county provides several disposal locations. They are open special hours this week from 8 to 5:30. If you're looking to drop off storm debris, we'll have those locations for you on our website, WNCT.com.
In Vanceboro, residents are trying to save what they can while they can. Parts of Streets Ferry Road are underwater. Today, residents used boats to carry furniture, TVs, and other belongings to safety. Most of the houses are on stilts right now, but some could face damage if water continues to rise. During Hurricane Floyd, water was above the stop signs there.
In other parts of our state, a teenager took matters into his own hands to try and keep drivers safe in Johnston County. 16-year-old Zachariah Harrington stood by caution tape posted in his yard over the weekend and tried to discourage drivers from going any further.
Shouldn't allow people to cross the bridge because they're in harm's way and I guess they just don't care about their own safety.
Harrington says he was worried someone would get trapped in their car and drown. In areas around the triangle, some deer need help being rescued. They were stranded on an island made by Hurricane Matthew floodwaters. They were left standing near a tractor and a mobile home.
In Lumberton and Robeson County, evacuations are underway. Today, there were long lines as people waited to get gas on their way out of the city. Coming up, we'll take you live to Lumberton for a look at the conditions right now.
And it just goes to show, even though Hurricane Matthew is already well past us, we're still going to be dealing with those impacts even as we get you into the work week. We'll talk about those river levels in your First Alert forecast.
Now your WNCT 9 First Alert weather.
The whole deceiving part of this week's forecast is that we're going to see sunshine and it's going to don't let your guard down, because we're going to see those river levels really start to rise over the next couple of days. Let's get you over to a viewer picture sent in by Brittany Hopkins over in the Tarboro, Princeville area. And this is unfortunately a common sight that we've been seeing, is the flooded yards, the driveways, even some flooded roads out there. Here's a look at the latest river level updates. Tar River sitting at 20.45 feet right now, so about 7 feet above normal flood stage. The Neuse River is sitting about 21.36 feet. The Trent River about 6.44 feet, so about 1.5 feet over the flood stage. The Pamlico River is one of the only ones right now that is under the flood stage, along with the Scuppernong over in the Columbia area. The Tar River in Rocky Mount actually broke a record yesterday. It's on the decline now, but you can see still almost about 7 feet above the flood stage level. So it's going to take a while, once we get these rivers to crest, to even see them start to recede below the flood stage level. We've broken some of this stuff down for you in some of the major river basins. The Tar River in Greenville is expected to crest by Wednesday evening, and you can see the crest level will still have about 4 or 5 feet to go before we see that, and then we won't even see it fall below flood stage until we get you into Monday. We can see the numerous homes and roads adjacent to the river, potentially seeing some flooding over there, and some of those roads will become impassable. And you've already heard some of the stuff we've already talked about in the newscast dealing with the Tar River in Greenville. Also looking at the Neuse River in Kinston, this one will be comparable to Hurricane Floyd, if that kind of gets a perception in your mind if you lived over that way. It looks like it'll crest at about 5 feet more than what we're at right now, and it's going to take a long while before this one will reach the flood stage level again, recede to that level. We could see up to 2 feet of water likely on Highway 70 in Kinston, and all major roads south side of Kinston will likely flood. As we move to the northeast Cape Fear River over in Chinkapin, we'll see it crest on Wednesday morning at about 19.5 feet. So we still got about another foot and a half to go before we reach the crest level. That one will fall below flood stage as we get into Monday. We could see issues with water on Highway 41, Highway 24, and Interstate 40. And one thing to note is that some of this flooding will extend miles away from the actual river basin, so something to take into consideration. The Contentnia Creek over in Hookerton looks like it'll peak at about 22.5 feet on tomorrow, so Tuesday's when we can see that happen. It'll take a while for it to fall below flood stage as well, and we could see numerous homes and roads on the north side of the creek between Snow Hill and Hookerton flood. So all this is to say that we could see a lot of homes impacted. You're already starting to see the evacuations that the news department has already been putting out and telling you about. So I want to just say we're going to see sunny conditions over the next couple of days. Don't let that drop your guard. Remember, if you do see any highways with any flooded roads on there, go ahead and turn around, don't drown. And of course, if you're asked to evacuate, just please heed that advice. Temperatures right now is comfortable, sitting in the 60s across the region, mid-60s. Dew points sitting in the 40s. You compare that to over the weekend, those dew points were in the 70s, so much more comfortable feeling as you walk outside. We're also seeing a breeze coming out of the north still. That's helping to usher in some of that cooler air. We'll see temperatures dipping down into the 40s tonight, really starting to see some of that cool air drag in, all thanks to that high pressure and that clockwise flow. But as it moves offshore, you'll see a little bit of cloud cover will start to move in by midweek. Overall, we're expecting things to remain dry even out ahead of a cold front that'll be moving through as we get you into late week. So for your boating forecast, if you're heading out on the boats tomorrow, it looks like things are improving from what we've seen in boating forecasts for the past couple of days. Small craft advisory out, north and northeasterly winds about 10 to 20 knots, a moderate chop along the lakes and rivers. Your 7-day first alert forecast, 69 for tomorrow, 72 by Wednesday. So overall, feeling rather comfortable in the temperature department. Like I said, it might be a bit chilly tonight. Temperatures will be in the 40s before we settle those overnight lows back into the 50s and 60s. Of course, we'll be monitoring those river levels. We're constantly updating those. We have them on social media. You can go to WNCT.com as well. And one of the good things about the 7-day forecast, if you notice, no rain. Exactly. So at least we're not adding any more rainfall, because we really could not handle that.
Definitely. All right. Thank you, Candace. Our aftermath of Hurricane Matthew coverage continues.
Right now, we're going live to Lumberton. That's in Robinson County, where evacuations are underway. Rick Reitzel joins us live from Lumberton with the latest. Good evening, Rick.
Well, good evening. We drove into Lumberton about 10 o'clock this morning and drove right in the middle of the rescue operation. Now, they were rescuing people, about 100 people from homes and 150 other people they picked up from the school and from using helicopters. Now, the National Guard said they were plucking people off of roofs, and the boats were going in and picking up the elderly and young people that had a hard time. Some people say they had to walk out through chest-deep water to get out. Now, it was a very chaotic scene, but it was handled very well. We've heard there's been 11 deaths here in North Carolina from either drowning or being swept away in flash floods. But as far as we know, here in Lumberton, we have heard of no deaths. So it's good news for Lumberton, but it is bad news for the fact that they have no water, they have no electricity, and they have no food here. So things are pretty tough for them. Angela and Ken.
So live in Lumberton tonight. Thanks. Still ahead, a look at the path of destruction left in Georgia in the wake of Hurricane Matthew.
And the heartbreaking reaction residents in Haiti had to a reporter who visited the island to report on the devastation there.
This is WNCT 9 on your side news at 5:30.
From the ground to the sky, WNCT is working to show you all the damage from Hurricane Matthew. Our Allie Weatherton got the chance to ride in the sky and check out aerial views of the flooding both in Pitt and Beaufort County. Take a look at this video. This is above Town Common. You can see just how fast the river is flowing in Beaufort County. This church has water on all 4 sides. We will have much more on our aerial coverage coming up tonight at 6.
We're also getting a look at the damage left behind by Hurricane Matthew in Georgia. In Savannah, homes had their roofs ripped off. Other structures were completely ripped apart. Homes that weren't structurally damaged are now flooded with water. Before making landfall in the United States, Hurricane Matthew did a number on the island nation of Haiti.
The storm is blamed for at least 1,000 deaths as Vladimir Duthier's report tens of thousands are homeless and without any food.
Days after Matthew made landfall in Haiti, hundreds are dead and tens of thousands are homeless and hungry. In the town of Jeremy, 80% of the buildings are damaged or destroyed. Jeff Gentil showed us what was left of his home.
Every time the wind would blow, you took all the children and you got on your knees and you would cover them.
He described the horror of living through the storm.
The first house, the roof was leave. Wow, the first house next door, before. The roof came flying over
before.
here.
I called them, come in here. Then they come in.
And then your roof?
My.
Wow.
More than 1,000 people are staying at this shelter, a school that is one of the few structures to have survived the hurricane. They tell us they've seen little to nothing in terms of help from their government.
They don't have anything to eat, they don't have anything to drink, and for the moment, no one's coming to help them.
The most difficult part of our reporting came as we were touring the village of Jeremy. Dozens of people surrounded me, and they asked me to write their names in my reporter's notebook as a way of saying, look, we're here, we've survived, don't forget about us. Vladimir Duthie, CBS News, Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Stay with us, more on the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew when we return. An explosive discovery in South Carolina in the wake of Hurricane Matthew.
Yeah, take a look at this video. Civil War cannonballs were found unearthed in Folly Beach near Charleston. They were fused together by rust. A bomb squad was called in to remove them. I was telling you guys earlier, if I would have saw that on the beach, I don't know if I would have identified it as a cannon. So I kind of feel like no telling what's washing up right now.
Exactly, and that just shows the power of some of these tropical systems that move through. I mean, think about it. It's unearthing, like it's bringing stuff up from the bottom of the ocean.
We got some pictures in the other day. People had fish in their front yard, so that tells you
crazy, right?
Crazy.
Oh, I'm so impressed by stuff like that. Let's get over to your 7-day first alert forecast. Of course, lovely forecast for you. If we didn't have to talk about the river levels, but of course we're going to have to keep watching out for all of those as we go throughout the work week. A lot of these rivers are cresting at different dates. We've got all the river level updates for you at WNCT.com, so you can see the one specifically near your location and when you can expect it to crest. Overall, temperatures are going to be in the 70s tonight. Ken, we could see temperatures in the 40s.
I'm not ready for that.
That's almost me breaking out a big jacket kind of
no
weather.
question. Almost.
Well, Okay, I didn't want to say I already broke it out, you know.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
And just a reminder, some people are going down to the Tar River Town Commons in Greenville just to check things out. The police have officially blocked that area off, so stay away from that area. They don't want spectators coming out there to look because it is getting kind of dangerous.
And the water, we want to remind people the flood waters in some of these areas, you know, where it's very low lying in some places, but don't go out in it because it's stagnant water and it's probably not healthy.
And you don't know what's in it either, or if anything is underneath it, like a road or anything.
Correct. Power lines, everything. All right, stay with us. WNCT 9 on your side news at 6 starts right after the break.
Well, overall, it's a visually beautiful day outside, very comfortable temperatures. Let's get you out to your Live by 9 here in Greenville, and you'll see those blue skies across the region. And overall, like I said, just a very pleasant day, at least in the weather department. As we get you in the overnight hours, we'll see temperatures dipping down into the 40s for some of our interior counties. We'll see 50s along some of the coastal regions. Clear skies throughout your Tuesday. We'll see maybe some clouds starting to creep into the picture, but overall things remaining dry, which is good news because a lot of these rivers are in the major flood stage category, and we really don't need to be adding any kind of precipitation to it. We'll get in more depth about these river levels, break a few of them down, expecting what you can expect and when they're expected to crest, coming up in your first alert forecast. 9 on your side at 6 starts right now.
This is WNCT 9 on your side news at 6.
We're worried about Greenville, and I want to encourage the citizens of this entire region to listen to the mayor, listen to the police chief, listen to your fire chief and all emergency personnel. What they say is gospel during the next 72 hours or more.
As major roadways become cut off, it's a race against the rising water to get out. And while some are using trucks, the only option for others is boats.
Well, the main concern is just losing everything that you've ever worked hard for.
He's my family, he's my life.
From people to pets, the concern is real. And tonight, we're getting a better idea of what eastern North Carolina is facing.
Good evening, I'm Angela Green.
And I'm Ken Watling. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hurricane Matthew's wrath may be over, but eastern North Carolina is still dealing with devastation caused by the storm.
You're looking at an aerial view of the damage left behind. As you can see, many neighborhoods and roadways are still underwater. Because of these conditions, many residents may not get home for days. WNCT is working around the clock to bring you the very latest on the ongoing efforts to restore conditions across our area. WNCT's Allie Weatherton joins us with more on the hard-struck areas. Allie.
Angela, I didn't realize how much damage you can see from up above. Many of our crews, myself included, couldn't get through certain areas due to flooded roads, but that didn't have a problem today. Now, this video on your screen is showing the Neuse River by the airport. You can just see how flooded the roads are. And this is GUC, the power plant, which I'm told is very hard to get to, and people are actually going by helicopter to bring the workers food and water. Now to Beaufort County, you can see some flooded homes. This video is a little shaky because it was pretty windy outside, and you can also see a local church was flooded as well on both sides. Now, it was definitely very sad just to see how much was flooded, and that's just maybe to come, more to come.
Yeah, now you obviously got to see a lot going on. Did you see anybody stuck on top of houses?
No, I didn't see that, but I did see that there was a lot of people taking pictures of the area, a town common, and I also saw like a lot of boats going through neighborhoods, you know?
Yeah. All right, Allie Weatherton here in the studio with us tonight. East Carolina University will not hold classes this week. Students should not report back to campus. Employees should check with their managers for their schedules and alternate work locations. Also, the ECU football game scheduled for Thursday against the U.S. Naval Academy rescheduled for November 19th. Several locations across Greenville are under a mandatory evacuation tonight. Our Kelly Byrne joins us now live in one of those evacuation zones.
Yeah, Ken and Angela, I'm at Stansel and Willow Drive. Now, I want to show you just how much this water has come up. The Tar River is behind me. Then there's the Greenway, but it doesn't look like the Greenway right now. It looks like the Tar River because that's how far the water is coming up. Now, this is a street. Earlier this morning, the water was past that post over there. It was not at all over here, but now it's slowly coming up closer to these neighborhoods. Now, I want to show you this. There was a house over here where people are now living. Residents, they told me they heard about the evacuations and were planning on leaving, but they didn't have a place to put their belongings. A group of volunteers saw resident Anita Vanderban needed help, so they found her a storage unit for free.
This lady didn't think that she had the funds to be able to put her stuff somewhere, so she had written it all off. So it's kind of cool to be able to give somebody that hope.
They're moving my everything inside the house out so that it can be saved. All I can say is that angels do exist.
Several volunteers from F3 and Covenant Church spent hours packing up her belongings so she didn't have to start all over. They filled an entire truck, leaving nothing in the house. Again, the water is expected to rise up here. I want to quickly show you where some of these houses are. And we're going to pan over to this house over here just to see how close the water is coming to this area. Again, this is a mandatory evacuation area. If you are living in these areas, and we have them all listed on our website, WNCT.com, city leaders say you need to leave. Live in Greenville, Kelly Byrne, 9 on your side.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much. Meanwhile, officials continue to monitor the Tar River.
WNCT's Pierce Legion joins us right now with an update on the rising water levels there. Pierce.
Ken and Angela, we've been here along the Tar River at Town Common all day long, and we have been watching the Tar River slowly creep in here along the Town Common. You notice that we've actually seen the water come up and over the walkway this afternoon, and we're starting to see it encroach on some of the lower walkways. For that reason, Greenville police have shut down the Town Common, so you're no longer able to come down here along the waterfront. Now, earlier this afternoon, Governor McCrory, he's been flying all over eastern North Carolina taking a look at the flooding, and he stopped in here at Greenville. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what he had to say.
We've now over 10 people have died, and almost all of them are drownings in their car. And we do not want to lose any more life. We know what's happening, we know what's going to happen, and therefore there's no excuse.
Absolutely. You can see the fast-moving water out here right now. That's just one of the reasons why we've seen so many deaths here in North Carolina. So no reason not to turn around, don't drown, and we're going to see that kind of play out. You're going to have to find alternate routes here all across eastern North Carolina for the next several days. Now, we've had people asking all day long where you could find information on whether your home will flood or business will flood. We do have that information for you at WNCT.com for Greenville, Hookerton, as well as Chinkopin and Kinston. So go ahead to WNCT.com for that. We're live in Greenville. Meteorologist Pierce Legion, not on your side.
All right, thank you, Pierce. Now, with the anticipation of flooding, Pitt County schools are closed until Wednesday. For a full listing of other closings and delays, you can visit our website, WNCT.com. And in the coming days, more bridge closings are expected to be announced beginning tomorrow afternoon at 5 in Pitt County. The bridge where Greenville Boulevard turns into US 264 will close. The bridge on Memorial Drive near 3rd Street will also close. You can see in this footage just how high the water has risen at the Pitt Greenville Airport.
Rising waters have forced a number of people out of their homes in Vanceboro. WNCT's Zora Stevenson continues our team coverage with their efforts to save as much as possible.
Right now I'm on Streets Ferry Road in Vanceboro. I know you can't tell, the Swift Creek has completely submerged this neighborhood in water. And the sad thing is residents say this is not the first time and it probably won't be the last.
We're all sick of it.
All night last night, half the night last night, and started this morning.
If you live on Streets Ferry Road in Vanceboro, your mission is simple. Save as much as you can, as fast as you can.
Just go as hard as we can go. That's all we can do.
Time is of the essence as the water continues to rise. This car is a great indication of the water levels. 24 hours ago, it was halfway submerged. Now you can barely point it out.
Floyd went to the top of the red on that stop sign. If that gives you an idea how much more water we're going to get.
Residents are going back and forth by boat to gather their belongings. Some houses are on stilts, others are not. No matter the circumstance, it's a hard time for everyone.
Well, the main concern is just losing everything that you've ever worked hard for.
Michelle Dubiel has lived on this road her entire life, and she can't bear the thought of losing everything she loves.
It means the world to me. It was my grandparents and passed down through generations, and that's the way it's going to stay, if the good Lord's willing. And the creek don't rise and wash it away.
Residents say the water will continue to rise. The priority right now, there's two separate things. One, if your house is already starting to flood, get as much stuff out as you can. And then residents whose houses are on stilts, well, they just hope it doesn't get that high. In Vanceboro, Zora Stevenson, 9 on your side.
In Lenoir County, residents are on the move now that a mandatory evacuation is in order. Lincoln Street is one of several areas expecting heavy flooding. That's where Sharon Solomon lives. She's not taking any chances. With the help of her family, she's packing up what she needs the most.
Just come out, help them move their stuff. They ain't got to be no kin to you. You always can help, and you'll get paid in one way. If it ain't a way that you like, it will come back to you.
Some of the things she's packing up includes her bedroom, furniture, clothes, and medicine.
A break in a levee that held back the Lumber River inundated the community of Lumberton today. Governor Pat McCrory said the break left more than 1,000 people stranded there in Robeson County. Emergency personnel and citizens in boats were going through neighborhoods trying to assist stranded homeowners and others.
In Greene County, evacuations are underway. Many people in Scuffleton already left their homes and belongings behind because they knew what to expect from experiencing Hurricane Floyd 17 years ago. WNCT caught up with one woman who had to return to her home this morning after realizing she left her husband's oxygen tank. Now, the Scuffleton Fire Department had to use a boat to take her home. Moore says she is relying on her faith to get her back in her home. Now, rescues are still underway across the east where floodwaters from Matthew has submerged towns.
Coming up, we'll take you to Duplin County, where residents are also leaving behind their homes and belongings thanks to flooding.
Yeah, flooding's hitting many of our counties very, very hard. We're going to see that major flood status across many of the rivers. We'll talk about when they crest and what impacts they have for you in your first alert forecast.
Now your WNCT 9 First Alert weather.
River levels are definitely the biggest weather story that we have for this coming week. We're actually going to get you out to a live view over at the Tar River right now. You can see those river levels definitely elevated. We've continually seen them starting to rise today. Many of our reporters that we have stationed out that way have said that the rising has been occurring. So we'll only continue to see that rise as we go into the rest of your work week. As we look at some of the river levels that we'll be seeing, you can see what looks like maybe a fence there down at the town common area, and that's very, very high water starting to make its way up to that fence line, and eventually that fence will no longer be able to be seen. So overall, a lot that has been going on in the Greenville area. Let's get you over to graphics now and show you some pictures that we've got over towards the Grifton area. Natasha Worthington, you can see sent in a picture of a road that's flooded out. So another impassable road. Impassable roads have really been kind of the story for many locations. Over in Goldsboro, parts of Highway 117 are closed, along with parts of Highway 55 near Mount Olive. The Goldsboro area has been hit pretty hard, especially since they received upwards of 15 inches of rain back over the weekend. Some of the river levels right now we're looking at, you can see the Kashai River, that one's actually starting to recede. It saw its crest earlier today, so that one will continue to drop. Kentetnia Creek is one we'll have to keep an eye on, as well as some of the Neuse River in Tarboro. Here's that one in Goldsboro we were telling you about. 18 feet is the flood stage, 26 feet and a half is where it's at right now, so well above flood stage. Tar River and Rocky Mount broke a record. So let's talk about some of these, breaking them down. The current level in the Tar River in Greenville is about 20 and a half feet. We'll see that continue to rise, and it'll rise all the way to about 25.8 feet by Wednesday night. So we're expecting some widespread flooding around the area, especially to the homes and roads adjacent to the river, and some of those roads will become impassable. Over in the Kinston area, the Neuse River, we'll see it rise about 5 more feet by the time we get you into Friday night. It's going to take a while before this river falls below the flood stage. It's going to be more than 10 days. It's going to be comparable to Hurricane Floyd in that area. All roads south side of Kinston will flood. We can see likely 2 feet of water on Highway 70 in Kinston, just to give you an idea of how much flooding we can expect. Over in the Chinkapin area, we can see about another 1.5 feet added to the current level before we see that crest happen on Wednesday morning. Some of the impacts over in that area, we can see numerous roads countywide becoming impassable or washed out near the river, such as Highway 41, Highway 24, and Interstate 40. And just to put it into perspective, some of those areas that could be flooded will be miles away from where the actual river is. And then we've got the Kentetnia Creek over in Hookerton. We can see numerous homes and roads on the north side of the creek between Snow Hill and Hookerton flood. We could also see widespread flooding impacts that could cause homes and businesses near the Grifton and Tickby area to flood, as we've got about another 1.5 feet to go before we hit that crest level by tomorrow. So overall, a lot of these rivers will be in very dangerous territory in this major flood stage status. So don't drop your guard just because you see sunshine out there. Always remember, turn around, don't drown if you see any flooded highways. And if you're asked to evacuate, it's not just to inconvenience you, it's really for your safety. Now outside right now, we've got temperatures sitting in the 60s, very comfortable outside thanks to our dew points down in the 40s at this hour. That's really going to help to allow our overnight lows to dip down pretty low. We've also got some northerly breezes about 5 to 10 miles an hour. High pressure is firmly in control. That keeps things dry for us. as we go into the Tuesday and Wednesday time frame. So by the time we get to your 7-day first alert forecast, you'll notice, well, not any rain chances on there, and that is a wonderful thing that we have going for us right now. A nice dry period. Unfortunately, we'll be watching those river levels all the way through the week. As you saw, that many of those river levels are not going to crest at the same time. They're kind of staggered. So just because maybe one area isn't feeling the worst of it doesn't mean that another area may not.
Yeah. And the best advice, if officials are telling you to leave the area, take their advice.
Exactly.
Leave.
It's a very serious situation.
Definitely. All right, thank you, Candace.
In Duplin County, many residents were forced out of their homes due to stream surge from Matthew. The Highway Patrol actually shut down Highway 24, a main artery through the county. Meanwhile, local first responders are working to get residents out of flooded homes. We're told the water has reached about 6 feet along some low-lying roads.
And mainly the people around here is being evacuated. Dire need bad if somebody's in the water, trying to get in the water, drive in the water, because you don't know if the road's washed away, you don't know how fast the water's running, you don't know how deep the water is.
Rhodes urges residents to stay out of the water if possible. Beulahville Elementary School is still open as a shelter for anyone who needs to evacuate. Like any disaster, flooding can have a serious impact on animals' health and safety.
So to come on 9 on your side at 6, we'll tell you how some owners are working to relocate their horses to higher grounds.
And we'll tell you the safe place you can send your pet if you're forced to evacuate your home in Pitt County.
This is WNCT 9 on your side news at 6.
Some of the hardest animals to evacuate during storms are livestock like horses.
WNCT's Katie Harden joins us now with more details on how some owners are making sure their horses find higher ground before the water arrives. Katie.
Well, Angela and Ken, with the waters rising, these large animals are likely to spook and then find themselves lost in the storm, much like many residents here in Pitt County say happened back during Hurricane Floyd in 1999. So many horse owners are taking their time to make sure that their horses are easily identifiable and easy to be seen in case they do get out of their pastures. Now, here at Otter Creek Farm in Pitt County, they're telling me that they had to evacuate all 10 of their horses yesterday because the one way in and out of the property is already swallowed by at least 4 feet of water.
We could not take a vehicle or a trailer. So one of the reasons we were hesitating to evacuate them is because we would have to actually swim them out.
Now, many of the horse owners in the East stay connected on social media and help one another when horses need to be evacuated, which was the case in this situation. Many people tell me that, again, their main concern is being able to transport those horses to where they need to be to find safety and higher ground. We were told that some of the stalls at the North Carolina Fairgrounds are open for people who are evacuating their horses and need a place to stay. But people here in Pitt County say it's hard to get those horses to those areas. But they're not the only people working to find safety for these animals. Pitt County Animal Control working to make sure everyone stays safe, including your pets. Hundreds of pets were taken today. WNCT's Allie Weatherton has more on those conditions.
From little dogs to big, everyone is welcome at the Pitt County Animal Shelter.
We have over 100 animals currently in our care, with more coming in every minute.
Director Michelle Whaley says since Hurricane Matthew hit and flooding became a major issue here in Pitt County, she decided to open up a free space for people to put their beloved pets while they stay in shelters and hotels. Whaley says they have so many animals, they opened up a second location at the Pitt County Farmers Market. She says many people dropping off have more than 4 dogs. Shelby Quebec is dropping off her 4-year-old dog, Woody. Her apartment is flooded and ruined.
At least about 2 feet of water ended up in it, and my door popped open, which made all the water rush in, and so now there's a giant hole in the middle of my living room floor.
Currently, she has no plan on where she's staying. She says while she figures that out, she wants to make sure Woody is safe and cared for.
He's my family, he's my life, so I mean, if I didn't have him, then it'd make the situation even worse.
Many people are like Quebec, dropping off their 4-legged family member. Whaley says while it's great to make sure the pets are safe, she reminds people that this is only a temporary spot. Her goal is to make sure all the dogs that had homes go back and aren't left at the shelter. In Pitt County, Allie Weatherton, 9 on your side.
All right, if you plan to drop your pet off at that animal shelter, make sure you call before you go.
Yeah, and it's also a good idea to bring their shot records with you.
All right, coming up tonight in sports, the Pirates lost their 4th straight game on Saturday and finally made it back to town on Sunday. And now, Scotty Montgomery and company, well, they'll get a break. We'll explain next in sports. An ultra short week turns into a break for the Pirate football team. East Carolina and Navy is off for this Thursday night. Pirates and Navy off for Thursday and rescheduled for November the 19th, coming up at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium. The Pirates went through, that's good news, I said, for the Pirate team on the ropes with a 4-game losing streak. The Pirates went through an episode of planes, trains, and automobiles just to get back to Greenville on Sunday. The team flew out of Tampa into Richmond, tried to bus back, stopped in Roanoke Rapids, and finally got back Sunday afternoon. Some of the players were flooded out of their housing over the weekend, and several others faced problems this week with the Tar River rising. Pirate coach Scotty Montgomery says his players' safety comes first as the program gets set to deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew.
Guys, our whole administrative football staff, that's what they're concerned with right now. They're not doing any football like they would normally be doing right now and trying to get prepared for this or that. The main concern right now is we're going to work around the clock to get our guys put in safe situations. We don't want any parents to be worried about their kid whatsoever. We do have kids that were here over the weekend that are at their parents' house right now and that they don't have the ability to get back on campus.
Today's practice was canceled after news broke of the postponement for Thursday. Also, the game time for the Cincinnati game on October the 22nd, now 7 p.m. at Nippert Stadium. That news coming out today. They will be playing football on the other side of the state, though, tonight. The Panthers at home for Monday Night Football hosting the Bucs. Carolina will be without the services of Cam Newton, who's out with a concussion. Both teams come in at 1-3, adding to the importance of this game. And Cam is not the only injured cat.
I think our guys have that kind of ability. So this is most certainly a next man up mentality, but it's not like we haven't done it before. And that's one of the things. I mean, this is a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody on this football team. It's a challenge for me as the coach, you know, for our assistant coaches and our players. And that's how we have to approach it as that.
Finally, we have a triple header of playoff action in baseball today. Right now, Game 3 in the NLDS for the Nats and the Dodgers. Washington leads 4-1 in the bottom of the 5th. That series tied 1-1. Later tonight, it's Boston and Cleveland in Game 3. And then even later, Cubs and Giants, Game 3 later tonight. One team moved on. The Jays complete the 3-game sweep of Texas last night in extra innings. Here's the game-winning play. The ball gets away at first. The run scores. Josh Donaldson's got it. And Toronto wins it 7-6 in 10 to advance. Back with more after this.
WNCT is continuing to monitor the Tar River as the water levels there is expected to continue to rise.
WNCT's Pierce Legion joining us now with another look at the river. Pierce.
Yeah, guys, water levels slowly creeping up here at the town common in Greenville. And with the sun setting and darkness falling across the area, the danger of all this is really going to increase as we get to the overnight. Of course, at nighttime, it's going to be harder to see those roads that are impassable. A number of bridges and roads already closed due to high water. So be prepared to have to find an alternate route if you're out and about during the overnight tonight. Turn around, don't drown. Please do remember that. We're live in Greenville. Meteorologist Pierce Legion, not on your side.
And this is seriously just the start of the flood.
It is. So basically, if you think about it, the crest is at the worst point that we'll see the flooding. So we've got to go uphill to get there. So we'll start seeing all those river levels begin to rise. And many of them crest at different times during the week. So your river may be a little bit different than, say, the river the next county over. So we'll be watching those river levels all week. One good thing that we can say is that we're not adding any new rainfall to the 7-day forecast. That's some good news. We're getting a nice drier stretch. Temperature is very comfortable in the 70s. So at least weather-wise, everything looks nice. On the water side of everything, not so nice.
Definitely. All right, of course, we'll be right back here tonight with all the latest updates. Stay with us. We'll see you then.